Appreciate you guys being here. Last week's video did absolutely amazing. Thankful for everybody that showed love. And today, I really just want to normalize feeling lost. If you're somebody who feels lost, who feels stuck, who feel like they don't know which direction their life is going, I'm somebody who completely understands. I've definitely been in your shoes, and I want to be able to help you redirect your life and get your life back on track. I have so many clients who don't really know where their life is headed. They're in a state of uncertainty and they're lacking direction. What they're really lacking is purpose, and that can cause a lot of people to feel lost, to feel stuck, and feel uncertain. So today I really just want to go over some things that kind of helped me get unstuck back when I was lost, back when I didn't have direction on where I wanted to go in life. You know, I'm somebody who graduated high school almost 10 years ago, and it took me really just 2 years ago from now to really figure my life out. And I feel like this is really the case with a lot of people, whether you're just graduating high school, whether you're just graduating college, whether you're just out of a new relationship, whether you're just having a baby. There's so many different things that factor into why you're lacking direction, why you're lacking purpose. And if you're here, then I commend you, because you're somebody who is ready to reconstruct their life and get their life back on track. So I want you to know that you are not broken and you are searching for something that is truly real. So salute to you, all right? The first idea that I want you to think about is that the map that is currently guiding you may be outdated. It may no longer suit you anymore. The map that you were using when you graduated high school shouldn't be the map that you have 10 years after you graduated. The map that you were using in that old relationship that didn't serve you shouldn't be the map that you should still continue to use in your life. I know a lot of times we get so stuck in our ways and we never really renovate where our ideas are coming from, right? Why are we still pursuing this thing? Are we still connected to this career? Are we still connected to this hobby? Is this thing still serving us? You know, I know a lot of people who picked up a habit of just partying, and so they still party every weekend and they use that as a tool to deal with some of their down moments. But is that a beneficial way to help them get to where they want to go? So the first step is to really understand that the map that you're using may be outdated. The map that we currently have just might not fit anymore. It's completely normal to outgrow an old path, and it's completely natural to rediscover who you are and who you would like to be and where you would like to end up. So don't be afraid of doing that. A lot of times when we're on the road to finding our new map and we're riding down a path that's uncertain, there will be some fog in place. And the fog is totally normal as well. There is a lot of fog a lot of times when we're rediscovering a new version of ourselves. The fog actually equates to you finding yourself. So if you're driving down a new path of self-development, of self-growth, of self-mastery, it's gonna be foggy, it's gonna be cloudy, it's gonna be uncertain, and that's completely normal. I don't think you're meant to see the whole road. You're not meant to see the whole road in front of you. It would be too easy that way. Everybody who starts out on this path of self-mastery or self-development, there's a lot of uncertainty, so you can't see all the way down the road. You can only see maybe a few feet ahead of you. That's totally normal. Understand that progress is made by moving forward, not by waiting for the fog to clear. I absolutely love that, and I had to learn that a lot of times along the way, and I'm still learning it now. So another great point that I kind of came up with when creating this material for this video, and we've all heard that comparison is the thief of joy, but comparison also steals your compass. In other words, it steals the navigation system you're using. If you're constantly comparing yourself, you're constantly trying to judge your journey by somebody else's measurement. It's one of the easiest way to get discouraged on this path of where you're trying to go. It's so easy to get discouraged by looking at somebody else's journey, but you don't know the hurdles that they had to go through. And a lot of times people don't show all the hurdles that they have to go through. You're comparing your lowlights to everybody else's highlights, and it's just not an even battle. So it's really easy to get discouraged by comparing yourself. But anyways, just make sure that you're focusing on yourself and staying in your own lane. That way, the more that you focus on yourself, the easier your journey will get, because you're dedicated to investing in your own energy. I think comparison definitely is the thief of joy. Focus on your own lane to avoid getting even more lost than you already are. Okay, another point is that your breakdown is a setup for your breakthrough. I feel like we've all heard the sentiment that a minor setback for a major comeback, but a lot of times when we hit rock bottom, it could be a really, really solid foundation for us to build on. So don't let rock bottom deter you from wanting to continue to go after your dreams and your goals. You know, there was a time where I hit rock bottom shortly after COVID, when I thought that everything that I was working towards was in vain. You know, I had just hung up my cleats, and I literally thought that all my years of playing ball was just thrown to waste, because I spent my whole life pretty much doing that the whole time. And when I stopped playing ball, I literally felt like there was nothing else that I could do, because I didn't have any strengths in anything else, you know. And so that felt like rock bottom for me. And I used that as fuel to continue to learn, to continue to grow, to continue to develop a new skill set in another area. And I ended up getting my degree, you know, a few years later, in a completely different niche than ball, obviously. So just know that breakdown moments can be the foundation for your breakthrough. And growth often comes from what feels like it's falling apart. So keep that in mind. Another thing that I see hinder a lot of people when they're trying to get out of a rut, or if they're feeling lost, is they feel like they need to have a map of everything together. They need to have a blueprint of exactly how they can figure this thing out step by step so that they can get out of this situation. I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. Sometimes it's just gonna be a lot of freestyling. It's not gonna be a whole lot of, okay, I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna complete plan A, then I'm gonna start plan B, then I'm gonna develop plan C, and then I'll have plan D. But a lot of times it's like, I'm gonna do plan C, and then plan B will come together, and then plan A finally comes, and then we get to plan D. So everything is not gonna be concrete and set in stone. Sometimes you gotta take risks. Sometimes you gotta do that thing that's gonna make you feel uncomfortable, because it's gonna give you the feedback that you're looking for in another area. For example, I had a client who was really, really afraid to step out of their comfort zone and go all in on something, go all in on a career, go all in on a job profession. And it took a lot of persuading him to get comfortable with being uncomfortable on taking chances. We don't like to take the chances that make us uncomfortable, but in reality, comfort keeps us where we are. If you're feeling lost, you're most likely also feeling comfortable. Those things go hand in hand. I don't know a whole lot of people that are not lost and are comfortable. A lot of people that are on different paths, they're on a path that doesn't make them really feel comfortable. They're on a journey that scares them. They're on a journey that, you know, keeps them up at night. And I'm not telling everybody that they have to completely change their whole life overnight and make bad decisions. But the decisions that really make us uncomfortable are usually the decisions that we need to make. That's where the most growth happens. All right, so keep that in mind. I think being lost is, like, looking back now after being lost for a while, it was one of the most rewarding things that ever happened to me, because when you're lost, it forces you to start thinking. It forces you to really think about what it is that you want to accomplish. Because as long as you remain found, if you feel like you're in a great position, you won't stretch anymore. I remember a quote, one of my favorite quotes by Oliver Wendell Holmes, that says, "A mind stretched to a new object or idea can never go back to its original way of thinking." If you're not lost and you're remaining in comfort, there's no pressure on you to think outside of your current circumstance. So sometimes being lost can be a really, really good thing. Being lost allows you to trust the process and also allows yourself to grow through uncertainty. If you think about anybody who has any major success, there was always a period in their life where there was some uncertainty. There's always a period in their life where they felt like everything that they was working towards wasn't gonna work out. There's always some doubt, but if you can persevere through that doubt, if you can persevere through that uncertainty and prevail, the other side is extremely rewarding. But most people won't get there. How you get there is by watching videos like this, staying connected to, your spirit, staying connected spiritually, also being around the right people that are also doing these type of things and putting themselves in uncomfortable situations, so that you have a solid support system around you and a solid foundation for when you feel like these moments, you can relate to a number of other people who are going through what you're going through. I feel like everybody needs community, and that's why I created Men of Mastery. Men of Mastery is a community where we grow, we build, we hold each other accountable, and we start off lost and eventually become found and find direction and purpose on what it is that we want to accomplish. So if you are somebody who is lost, if you're somebody who needs support, if you're somebody who needs accountability, feel free to join a Men of Mastery. We're starting a new book club here in a few days. We read a book a month, and we really just grow and develop together. So would love to see you in there. Just remember to draw your own map. Remember to embrace the fog and continue to move anyway. Remember to stop comparing, because it really is the thief of joy. And last but not least, let breakdowns build you. Let breakdowns build you and continue to grow. So that's all I got, and I will see y'all on the next one. Stay if you want to.